Modern life often feels like a series of disjointed signals, a collapse of shared truth, and a pervasive sense of spiritual exhaustion. We are navigating a world of subjective overlays, a patchwork of manufactured narratives that obscure the objective universe by design. This psychological architecture has roots in occult theory. Esoteric practitioners like Aleister Crowley pioneered the idea that reality could be reformulated through a continuous process of initiation and mental control. Today, a shadow governance, an invisible empire, manages these initiations, synchronizing economic extraction, psychological camouflage, and spiritual subversion to maintain a global grid of control. Recognizing the existence of these overlays is the primary step in resisting them. We are engaged in a war for the human mind, and awareness is the only way to break the circuit. The imperial hunger for resources simply traded its visible armies for sophisticated financial mechanisms. Cecil Rhodes' vision of global expansion mutated into a system of borderless corporate piracy. This produced a rigid class divide between the Casa, an elite cadre of extractors, and the Ama, the masses whose labor and resources are targeted for harvest. International financial institutions often facilitate this by trapping developing nations in inescapable debt and fraudulent contracts, ensuring wealth flows upward to a select few. Engineered economic strangulation serves a specific purpose, and it keeps the global population too exhausted and impoverished to recognize the hand of their invisible masters. To protect these economic gains, the empire must also capture the public's perception of reality. The daily narrative is monopolized to keep the population divided by manufactured crises. Magicians and theorists describe this mass media saturation as greater black magic. It floods the senses with constant noise to preclude critical debate and prevent any collective understanding of the system's actual inner workings. Subconscious conditioning is furthered through the use of esoteric symbols in commerce and entertainment, most notably the pyramid and the all-seeing eye on global currency. This specific imagery serves as an ideological marker, subtly normalizing a centralized system of surveillance and preparing the mind for total, unified control. When infrastructure is used to broadcast signal instead of substance, the result functions like a telepathic spell, an inversion of truth that renders the public blind to their own exploitation. The final layer of this architecture targets the spiritual core of humanity, seeking the systematic erosion of traditional moral values. This centuries-long project, known as Dajjalia, is designed to plunge humanity into a state of spiritual helplessness. In this stage, elite alliances broker global policies to build a secular framework that is hostile to traditional monotheism. This manufactured spiritual void is a deliberate trap. It leaves humanity in a state of absolute emptiness, ready to accept a false savior, the Dajjal, and a new world order to fill the silence. The convergence of these economic, psychological, and spiritual traps points toward a technological dictatorship, a painless concentration camp where pharmacological methods and permanent surveillance make servitude feel desirable. To survive this invisible war, individuals must reject morbidly conventional narratives and attempt to see the objective universe through the camouflage. This is the role of the aware individual, the mystic, who uses knowledge to uproot tyranny and champion the human spirit against institutionalized deception. The invisible empire requires your unwitting consent. Once you recognize the architecture of the prison, the walls begin